with a near-death experience revealed and more. This is Pro Wrestling Central. My name is John, and you're watching The Wrestling Report. Citing herself as proof that the WWE Performance Center produces stars, Tiffany Stratton told PHL 17 News, "We have so many athletes from all different kinds of backgrounds. We've got gymnasts, we've got football players, we've got dancers, and I think they all just kind of report to the Performance Center and they train to become the next WWE superstar. And I think it's so important to have some sort of training center to coach the next in line, the future of the business, and they've been doing such a great job. I am from the WWE Performance Center. I'm a homegrown talent, so I am proof that the WWE Performance Center works." Touching on Alberto Del Rio's WWE status after being exiled from AAA, Ringside News wrote that Alberto El Patron may have just wrapped up his AAA run in the most dramatic fashion, but it sounds like WWE has no plans to bring him back despite what he's reportedly been telling others. According to a new report from Fightful Select, Del Rio's status with WWE has not changed, even after his exile from AAA on July 25th. That night, he lost a brutal match to El Mesias, ending his storyline and potentially his future with the promotion entirely. The match stipulation forced him out of AAA, closing the chapter on what had once been a dominant return run. While Del Rio has allegedly claimed there was renewed WWE interest, including telling members of the AAA locker room he was contacted about a possible Royal Rumble appearance, WWE insiders have strongly pushed back on that idea. One higher-up made it clear if we wanted Alberto at all, much less in the Royal Rumble, he'd be here. The same source added there was never any difference or change to his status and stated that WWE intentionally distanced itself from Del Rio, especially once it acquired AAA. WWE wanted to ensure Del Rio wasn't being featured prominently and even worked to remove the AAA Mega Championship from him earlier this year. Internally, WWE acknowledged the move might lead to short-term backlash in Mexico when Hijo del Vikingo dethroned Del Rio, but company officials believed it was worth the risk for what they saw as a long-term benefit. Sources said that Del Rio is legitimately done in AAA and claimed there are no plans for him in WWE either. While Del Rio is expected to try and pitch returns to both companies, it looks like the door is shut, at least for now. Recalling how he came up with his previous WWE theme song, Basic Thuganomics, John Cena noted at Fan Expo Denver 2025, "I started rapping on television and they put me with a guy called Bull Buchanan. I refer to him as B squared. That's my homie. They gave me like this generic rap music and boy, it was bad. Bad. So I'd walk out to it and I'd be like, man, I could do better than this myself. Oh, sorry, man, I could do better than this myself." So my cousin is in the New England hip hop circuit and he knew some friends who make music. And I'm like, man, I got the middle of the week off. Can we make a song? And that's when in 3 days, we recorded Basic Thuganomics and I handed it to WWE at the time and they were like, yeah, sure, we'll use it. It's a rap song. It's your voice. This is great. And then after it was kind of successful and people dug it and the character took off, I'm like, okay, we're going to do a whole album. And as soon as I heard the beat for The Time Is Now, I'm like, man, that's the entrance music, because it sounds like entrance music. At that expo, John Cena would talk about his farewell tour in WWE. You know what? I hate to be topical, but I'm just going to do it. The farewell tour, because it's something that's never been done. A pro wrestling retirement is like a pro wrestling wedding. Somebody's going to fight, and it's going to never happen. So pro wrestling and retirement don't always go together. Early on in my career, I made a promise to everybody who shows up and gives their all that once I was a step slower, I would let the young and gifted talent flex their muscle. And that time time is now, so it's time to step away. You guys will know that I'm serious in January, when I don't come back wearing jorts and I'm in a suit. I really like the concept of announcing you're going to retire about 6 months beforehand, and then going through a year. And I know in January people were confused about what was going on at WrestleMania. They didn't know if that was my last match, or then the day after in Vegas when we started to do the date thing, people still didn't understand. I know that we got 15 left. People kind of understand that it is coming to an end, and having met all you guys today and heard your stories and heard your passion, I'm so grateful to be surrounded by folks where the little work that I've done has affected you in a certain way, and that makes me feel good. But I think traveling this road, man, it's uncharted territory, so let's see where it takes us, right? Breaking his silence on his father, Hulk Hogan's death, Nick Hogan wrote this on Instagram. "Thank you to everyone who has reached out to me and comforted me over the last few days. It truly means a lot. I'm sorry to everyone I have not responded to yet. This has been overwhelming and extremely difficult. Hearing so many kind words and stories about my dad's life, interactions, and experiences with everyone has been incredible and comforting. My dad was the most incredible person I've ever known and will always be my hero. He was the most kind, loving, and amazing father anybody could ask for. I feel so blessed to have had the greatest dad in the world. He was not only the best dad, but also my mentor and my best friend. I spent a lot of time with him the past few years after moving back to Florida to be closer to him, and I'm so grateful for those memories. They are the best moments in my life. I would do anything to have him back, but I know now that he will always be watching over me. I will always remember the lessons and advice he gave me and carry on in a way that I know would make him proud. Thank you for being the best dad in the world, and thank you for being my best friend. I love you so much, big dog, and I will miss you forever." When it comes to legal issues a former wrestling star is facing, Ringside News wrote, former TNA wrestling star Trinisha Biggers, known in the ring as Raka Khan, was arrested in New York City on Saturday after allegedly refusing to leave her former apartment building following an eviction. According to law enforcement sources via TMZ, Biggers was taken into custody around 11:30 a.m. after officers were called to a Midtown Manhattan apartment complex. Tenants reported that Biggers remained on the premises despite being previously served with an eviction order, triggering a criminal trespass charge. Authorities say she was escorted from the building without incident. Biggers was then transported to the 17th precinct, where she remained in custody as of Saturday afternoon. Neighbors told police this wasn't the first time there's been trouble involving Biggers at the property. Some residents claim she's caused ongoing disruptions in recent months, and the tension reportedly reached a breaking point over the weekend. Going over the previous allegations against him of talking to minors, former WWE star Patrick Clark, also known as Velveteen Dream, told Olymp It Ain't Easy, "None of my coworkers spoke up for me, because I feel like that puts almost an energy in the air of, well, everybody's saying these things and no one's going to speak up for you, because I wasn't even speaking up for myself. I was told at that process to be quiet. We will handle everything." Paul Levesque had a post-show meeting at a takeover and addressed it and said, "We found nothing." And that was it. It was enough for me because I trust the company, and I always trust the company because, again, they used me for a whole year. They tried to make it work. They couldn't get past the Fire Velveteen Dream hashtag, so they had to make a business decision. People wanted answers, and Tommaso Ciampa told me that. Like, you need to address this, dude. I remember he walked up to me in the gym and was like, "Dude, you need to address this. Like, what are you waiting for?" And I was like, "I'm waiting on them. They told me not to do nothing." He's like, "I don't know about that." And I was just like, who are they protecting, right? And I didn't see that. Wrestling is such a bubble. It reminds me of that, I always say, the Simpsons movie where they put the dome over Springfield. That is wrestling. During that same interview, Velveteen Dream recalled having a meltdown over losing his luggage at an airport. So we were coming back from a road loop. They lost my bag. I was pissed and I was tired, but I didn't handle it as a man. I didn't handle it with maturity. I did not handle it with grace. I made a fuss in the Delta office about me not having my bag, so they kicked me out. The officer that kicked me out was friends with Dave McKinnon, who was our security guard for NXT, so it got to Dave, small world, and it got to Triple H. Patrick, you have to understand that we need you to grow up. You cannot be in the position we want you to be in acting the way that you're acting. You have to learn that you have a lot more to lose than everybody else. Anyone else can go in that airport into that Delta lounge and they can act a fool and no one's going to care the next day. You do it and you're on Twitter. And he was very right. Now I'm in Shawn Michaels' class for 4 years. I've gone to church with Shawn Michaels. My family's visited and we've all gone to church together, me and his family. He always said, no matter what happens in your career, I would much rather you be great men than great wrestlers. And I understand that now, 5 years later, better than I did when he first said it. Also, Velveteen Dream mentioned his drug use around the time of his WWE release, saying, I tell people all the time, I didn't lose my job because I sucked. I did not lose my job because I was not good at it. They tried their best. That's why I don't have any ill will toward WWE. They used me for a whole year. They tried to make it work. They couldn't get past the fire Velveteen Dream hashtag, so they had to make a business decision. Don't take it personal, it's a business. I got into drugs pretty heavily in my time down there. A lot of that time is a blur. I wasn't enjoying it because I needed to work. I needed to be successful. Opening my DMs, that was an effective pressure. Everyone doesn't have your best interest in mind. I probably would have died with the amount of drugs that I was consuming. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.